Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners. We go harness racing with a big program on Saturday night. 11 races. Action gets underway at 5:40. The feature this week, it's a Group 3 trotting feature, the Jim McNeil Memorial Trotting Championship. We look forward to that race. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we plan on speaking with Pete McMullen, Chris Geary and Paul Diebert. Pete McMullen is fresh back from a Sydney campaign. He jumps in the hot seat to talk about his drives on Saturday night. Pete, we start with the race 3, number 2. Where's the Spirit? How do you think he's going to measure up this weekend?
He's probably just struggling with the class a little bit. The horse is racing really well. Probably just needs a little class drop though. It'd be nice if we could just get back to the B grade race.
Okay, well that's Where's the Spirit in race 3. The following race, this looks a really good race on paper. Bit of form here. You're down to drive Corey William, a horse you know really well. He's got good gate speed. 2,138 metres. Is that the obvious concern with Corey William?
Yeah, he's definitely better over the mile, but he has proven of late that he can run the 2,100 out. And he loves being on the front end. So if he can be up close and he'll get up trucking and hopefully he'll run a very strong race. Major
Currency was able to lead last week. He draws gate 1 again this Saturday night. Do you think you can head him off?
Yeah, the biggest problem is, if we've got to rev him up, and then if we don't clear and parked out, it becomes a bit of a challenge, both for myself and the horse that parks me. He wants to sort of race a little keen, so ideally if we can lead it would be best.
All right, well that's Corey William. Race 5, the free-for-all. This is a really good race. Matt Gregor's back from Sydney, Newcastle Mile, and then he contested a race last Saturday night at Menangle, really strong. What did you make of the 2 runs in Sydney?
Probably didn't handle Newcastle all that well. Going 150 around a 5/8 track's pretty good going. And but then last week's run, I was really happy with him. Driven pretty aggressively in a 49 mile, and he still kept coming all the way along. I wasn't beaten very far.
He's obviously done well for you to back him up this Saturday night.
Yeah, he probably actually works out better for him. He can get a little bit fat, and the travel sort of helps him. So don't have to work him quite hard, and he handles it really well.
Well, he's drawn the inside of the second row. How do you see this race playing out early? Because there is plenty of pressure off that front line.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pressure there. But Smooth Showgirl, she's got a lot of speed. So just crossing my fingers and hoping she holds up. If she does, I'm going to be in with a very good shot. If she happens to take a sit, which it's possible, I think 3 fence still wouldn't be the worst spot anyway. Should still be able to sneak into some money.
Yeah, it's a good spot to be in the free-for-alls, on the pegs there, no doubt about that. The last, race 11, Al's Law, another horse that you know really well. He's backing up from Tuesday. Importantly for him this week, it's 2,138 metres. The shorter the better for him, it seems.
Yeah, I think so. He's been racing really well. He's, fingers crossed he begins well, which he normally does, and he should get himself in a very handy spot, and if he sort of has the right helmet, he can be pretty lethal.
It's a good quality field, that final race.
Yeah, definitely. The trotters in Queensland are pretty strong at the moment, and but he's definitely up to it, and he's been proving that of late.
All right. Out of all of those drives we've just spoken about, which one are you keen on most?
Probably a tough question. Probably another one there is Innocent Crocker, who is also in pretty good form.
All right, well, we'll watch her with interest. Going around in race 1, number 3, Innocent Crocker. Pete, appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Thank you.
Chris Geary jumps in the chair to have a chat with us about his drives on Saturday night. Chris, we start with My Master Craftsman in the first. He's going really well, but this looks a tough draw. Gate 7 over the mile.
Yeah, definitely. I think most of his runs this campaign have been quite similar. He's either been hampered with bad draws or things just haven't really panned out for him. But like you said, he's racing really, really well, and it's probably I probably sound a bit like a broken record every time you ask me about him. He's going to need some luck and find himself in a good spot. But it's funny. Could be one of those races where they run it upside down and he finds himself in the right spot. But probably one of the horses I've been driving the last few weeks is going as good as anything. But yeah, like I said, he's just going to need that luck somewhere in the run.
All right, well, each way for My Master Craftsman in the first. We'll jump over to race 4, Tamira. You're obviously the lucky charm with this guy because he can be really hit and miss, Tamira, but he turned it all around last time out. You jumped back aboard him and he delivered. Can he do it again this weekend?
Yeah, I think it might be a bit harsh on Breno there, but he is a tricky horse. He's got plenty of tricks, and he like you said, he jumped back into form last week. He'd been racing really well. He'd just been getting it wrong at the wrong time, and like I said, he found his way in front last week, and was able to hold him off. But I think he comes up with a bit of a tricky draw again this week, and Obviously a bit of a step up in grade from last Tuesday, so it's going to be tough for him. He's either going to have to do it the hard way, or I hope on a lot of luck during the run. But like I said, he's been racing really well, and if he can put it all together again, I don't see why he couldn't be thereabouts.
It looks hard to map this race from the draw because you've got in-form runners and gate speed horses on your inside, so you could end up anywhere, really.
Well, that's right. I think he's got to probably run the gate for 50 and just sort of try and sum it up early there, whether we're going to be left out there for too long and just grab up and go back, or he might get lucky and something might open up for him. But like you said, there's a stack of speed, and it is a hard race to work out. It's probably just going to fall down to what happens when they leave the gate.
All right, well, that's Tamira in race 4. The main race on Saturday night, this is the Group 3 Jim McNeil Memorial Trotting Championship Final. You've picked up the drive on Down Under Roars. This is a trotter that you know well, and he's in good form. He's not without a hope in this final.
No, definitely. He's he's a really likeable little horse. I've only driven him a couple of times, and I think he was second on one time, and he might have won his other start. And he gives you a really good feel. He gives you 110% every time he steps on the track. So what's a pretty even sort of race with the way it's handicapped. If he can step and put himself in a good spot, he's definitely an outside hope.
There's not much of him. He's only a little guy.
He is, yeah, and like I said, he, John and Tanya, they've done a great job with him. He's obviously got his fair share of little issues there and whatnot, but, he's probably not the prettiest trotter to watch or sit behind, but like I said, he gives you 110, and, that's all you can ask from him.
So is there a winner amongst that trio?
Probably Down Under Roars would probably be, the more likely, just, from the draw and, the way those races are run, but all three of them have got a chance, if it pans out for them. But yeah, just might be a tricky night.
Appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
No worries, thank you.
Paul Diebert jumps in the chair now to have a chat to us about his drives on Saturday night. We start in race 2 with Paul. Left to Terror. He was really strong scoring last time out. This is probably a rise in grade, but you can't knock him on that latest performance.
Yeah, definitely. As I spoke to you through the week on the radio, he's racing well and should run a good race. Just don't know where I'm going to get to at the start. There is a bit of speed inside me, so yeah, we'll see what we can do.
As I said, it's a rise in grade, but judging by the way he won last time out, he looks like he's got a little bit stronger this campaign.
Yeah, definitely. With this new rating system, he's had trouble getting him into races early on, but he had a few hiccups along the way early on, so now he's racing well and racing like he was as a juvenile.
All right, well, that's Left to Terror, race 2. Race 4, this is a good quality race, and you've got a key drive here in Jamie's Bad Boy. This former Kiwi, he's just Mr. Consistency. He's like a little ATM machine. He's either first or second. What are we expecting this weekend?
Yeah, I'd like to see how he goes, especially it's over the 2100 and he'd rather the longer trip over than the mile, where in the early grades, going through his grades, I had to get up there handy and just be up there, but I reckon I'll be able to not have to use him early to get a handy spot this week, and there's plenty of speed to the inside of me, so I'm going to be able to just drive him the way he should be driven, especially that's the way he was driven in New Zealand. And if the tempo settles down, I'll be tipping I'll be putting him into the race if I can get up there.
All right, so you're confident he can handle this class rise?
Definitely.
All right, well, that's Jamie's Bad Boy, race number 4, all the way across to the last. Race 11, Rain on Me. She got it all wrong last week. What happened?
Yeah, just the mobile. I think she got a bit stirred up, and well, going back to the tapes, we'll be right. I'm fingers crossed we'll be right. Grant barred me all week this week. He hasn't let me sit behind it. Grant drove it Tuesday, and Ricky Hart drove it today. So fingers crossed she's ready to pounce back into the winner's circle.
But in all seriousness, though, she is capable of bouncing back against this field and from that handicap.
Yes, definitely. And the tapes, I shouldn't be too far away, and I think she is better driven with speed and full speed, but I'll just have to tuck her up and just hopefully if I can get the pounce, I'll get it, and I'll be smoking home late.
All right. Of those 3 drives, what's the pick of them?
I like Avros Don in the trot race. He's been racing well, and it's a fairly even race, I reckon.
Well, he won't be too far away, there's no doubt about it. We appreciate the time today, and we'll see you trackside.
Cheers.
Looking for the early good thing on Saturday night? I think we've got to be patient. Race 9, number 7, Lucky Unlucky. Yes, he's got the wide draw, but I think he's going well enough to overcome it, so I'm going to mark him as the good thing this Saturday night. Race 9, number 7, Lucky Unlucky. Always remember, if you are gambling this weekend, know when to stop, don't go over the top, gamble responsibly.